Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Knox Makers Show and Share. Weather's beautiful. I like the sunshine. Don't like the cold that comes with it. I don't know about you guys, but I hear it's colder in other areas. Just to help with the sound, I'm going to take this off. So let's go ahead and get underway. We've got some shares. We're going to start with James and Mutant Toy Parade instruments.
Hey, so we had our workshop on Sunday and it was actually really good. We had 7 toys to modify and we got 5 of them working. I guess we can. So we've got an audio jack that they installed. I actually didn't do anything. They installed this audio jack and then a potentiometer. It's a 500 ohm potentiometer that someone named Laureano Cantarudi came up with. He's Argentina based, and he came up with these circuit bending kits. They assembled them, and this is some of the instruments we're going to use for our parade next Tuesday down Gay Street. So we'll show you what they came up with.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. Aux input model. Aux input model.
So yeah, that's what we got. We also, some of the other toys is a baby doll. That is terrifying. So Lance decided to put the potentiometer in one ear and the audio jack in another ear. We've got another baby doll. We think we wired up the audio jack wrong, or maybe the potentiometer wrong, because it's not actually doing anything now. So if anybody wants to help us, we'll be out here working on it. And that's all we got.
That's going to be quite the band. So Doc, you have some keys. Different kind of keys.
Hello everyone. I was presenting last week with my new 3D printer, and I'm a metal worker, if anybody knows, and I'm a locksmith, so I deal a lot with keys and things like that. I've started smelting keys about 2 years ago in order to just stockpile brass ingots all over the place. And well, now I've actually found something to do with all my brass ingots. Everybody see those? I was able to successfully sandcast the keys from that show Lock and Key on Netflix. And I brought pictures while I passed the keys around. Is that the right way? No, is it the wrong way? There you go. Can we zoom in on this? How does this work? That is the mold for the mind key that I put. If you notice on this image over here, you have to put plenty of drain holes. If you don't put enough oxygen holes, your flask will break open. I also learned you could overcook your brass. If you heat it for too hot, too long, it will actually separate and burn, which I didn't know. Now this is the successful cast of breaking it open, pulling it out, all the drain holes, to what we see now after we've cleaned it up. I went through with a hand file on actually all of these keys to clean it up at the seams. That's a whole lot to throw at you at once, so any questions? No? Cool.
So it was quite interesting to watch you talk about the 3D printing the keys and then using those to do the hollow in the sand mold into the sand before you poured the metal in. And it looked like the brass boiled over.
It did. It overpours a little bit, so you're always going to have there's some special name for the drain or for the pour spout at the top, and that's just where it collects once it fills.
Okay.
That's how you know you poured enough metal.
Okay. Boiling over. I never thought of milk, yes, but not brass.
You have to pour all the metal in each burn, because if you let it sit, it'll overcook and you just ruin that metal at the start.
Wow.
So every time you pour all of it. So have multiple flasks set up if possible.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe we'll have a class on key making later, huh?
I'm going to eventually make all those foods become.
Okay. Could you repeat again from the back? Nothing? Okay. All right. So much for the peanut gallery back there. Let's turn to Brian and some Christmas boxes.
So we got this great idea that we would make a bunch of homemade cookies and hot sauce and other things that we make around the house and put them in boxes and give them to our friends, family, neighbors, that kind of thing. So I didn't take a lot of great process pictures, but we decided to make a bunch of these boxes. This is actually the 4 sides of one box. It's not assembled yet. And I used it as a good opportunity to make a whole bunch of dovetail joints, which it's like a practice makes perfect kind of thing. So here's a few of them that we were doing. I did about a dozen of them this last week. I think I have 2 of them here. One is red oak, the other one is cherry. Most of them are cherry. It's just from a bunch of trash wood that I had sitting on the stack I've been trying to get rid of. So half of it went into making these boxes. The other half I've already burned at the house. And then I made these nice little tops for them. So when we get them all done, we're going to fill them with cookies, wrap some bows around them, make them look all pretty. But yeah, nice little quick project. Nice to get in the holiday cheer. And dovetails are cool.
How many hours?
I don't know, maybe like a dozen total. If you notice, you'll feel they're very rough. That's because I was spraying shellac at 30 degrees, which is like 40 degrees below when you should be doing it. And then I also didn't do any like surface finishing on them. So normally before you would finish something, you would, hand plane it to a glass smooth, something like that. So these are pretty rough and ready, but they're mostly just shippable boxes. So yeah, enjoy.
Thank you, Brian. Those are, is there one for me? I have to be nice. I'll try that. In the meantime, let's bring up Joe with some time travel.
Evening, all. Time travel because my topic, because it fits what I'm been doing. I got into making jewelry a number of years ago, and for a present for my wife, this was not the actual present I gave her, but she likes old stuff, antiques and things like that. So I decided to make something that was older than she is. I found a source for some meteorites, and yep, that's it, go. This is an iron meteorite, and it impacted in Argentina over 5,000 years ago. And the area where it landed was called, if I say it right, Campo del Cielo, which translates to either Field of Stars or Field of Skies, depending on what translates it online. So, but yeah, this is an iron meteorite, and my wife and I are both retired now, so we're looking at doing some stuff this year, this coming year, traveling and stuff, and doing some craft shows and things like that. The next thing is I've always loved photography, and about 12 years ago, my sons gave me an old camera, this old 16 millimeter movie camera. You know, you think, okay, this one has a history to it, and let's see how this picks up. Where's the zoom? Huh? Okay. There we go. It's worn quite a bit, but it says Lieutenant F.C. Actually, it's pronounced Brevier, but you look at the spelling, you'd think Brevalier, but it's French. And it has a service serial number, his infantry and division. Well, that got me interested. I had to track this down. Starting with his service serial number, I actually found out he was part of a National Guard unit out of Erie, Pennsylvania, and he was killed in action August 7th, 1944 in Guthimo, France. Well, then I started looking at the last name, started tracking that. I actually located a nephew of this person. He lives in Colorado, and I called, located a phone number, called, and the guy's wife answered the phone. I told her what I was looking for, and she said, "Oh, he was a ancestor of my husband." So she got him on the phone, and so I talked to him and told him where I was and what I had and all this stuff, what I was looking for. He said, "I've got film that was shot with that camera." And we get to talking about it, and information that I had found just online. And a week or two later, I get a package in the mail. I got a copy of with a picture of the Purple Heart that he was awarded when he was killed. I got a copy of actually the certificate of the Purple Heart. I got a copy of the letter that was from the War Department that was sent to his mother where he was killed in action. And the house in Pennsylvania actually still exists. It's an old residential area, and you can tell that house was built, turn of the century. Actually located the cemetery where he's buried at, and a picture of the family plot in his grave. And the following year, I get home from, about a week before Christmas, I get home from work, and I find this box in my living room, big box. Open it up, it was the projector that went with the camera. And one of the unusual things is those those projectors, they were sent with a little stainless steel flask that you use oil for the projector. It still had the original flask in the case. And last year, I was able to locate fresh film that I can run through this camera, and the same company does processing for it. So, weather permitting, this coming weekend, here in the national cemeteries, they're doing the wreaths across America, where they're putting wreaths on all the veterans' headstones. So my plans is to go over there, and at the one over here in North Knoxville, at the Old Gray Cemetery, Arlington Cemetery, and film, the wreaths being laid on the graves. And then another little interesting thing, I was talking to Channel 6 to find out the actual date when they were doing the wreaths. Greystone Mansion was originally built by a Union officer after the Civil War. And I was adopted at birth and was able to locate my birth name. And I have an ancestor who was involved with a duel with that officer, because he was a Confederate officer, and he's actually buried at Old Gray Cemetery. So, my mother-in-law did genealogy research for years, and when she passed away, all of her genealogy research papers we donated to the McClung collection downtown. I mean, she had stuff, she'd actually tracked family back into Europe. And, we've had, relatives that was a signer on the Declaration of Independence. Stockton, California was one of their ancestors. Fort Stockton in Texas was an ancestor. So, it's tracking history back is interesting what you can uncover. Some people say when you track back, do you find somebody hanging from the tree? Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I think it would be hard-pressed for your wife to get anything older than that meteorite. And next we have Arno. There you are, with power supply.
Hello. So I have a book on building power supplies, and I decided to start out simple with the very first example in the book. And here it is. It's got as few components as humanly possible. Well, no, that's all a lie. You could get rid of that one. So you've got a transformer, you've got a diode bridge, and a capacitor, and it converts from the wall 120 volt down to 12 volt. And when I first built it, I took my multimeter and I put it across the leads, and it was only reading 50 millivolts, and I was beyond confused. It's like, stepped through it multiple times. No, this should be working, this should be working, this should be working. And so I decided to just put it on the shelf, came back a week later, put the terminals across it, and now it was at 6 volts. I was even more confused. How can it jump like that? And then I kept testing it over several minutes, and it kept climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And as of about 10 minutes ago, it was at 13 volts. Hopefully it's settled down now.
We're not going to have smoky flames up there,
You shouldn't. So yeah, now it's at 15.3, and it's going down instead of up. So, yeah, I'm really at a loss as to why it does that. But it works. It's no longer 120 volts. So, that's it. That's my project.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about making. You never know exactly what you're going to get, and it sometimes takes you a lot longer to get there. Yeah. We don't have any more signups, but does anybody have something that they'd like to share that didn't get a chance to sign up? Oh, Mimi. Last year, we had someone who built a wooden rocking horse, I believe it is, in woodworking. And so this year, I wanted to make some stick horses for the grands. And I looked at the prices online. They were like 35 bucks. I just couldn't see paying that for a stick horse. I found some for 10, and in comparison, they look like $10 stick horses. So I have been working on this. So it's still, as you can see, it's not stuffed yet, so it's not quite ready to bring in. But a fiber arts version of a wooden horse. And that's my quick share for the night. Thank you. So I'd like to go ahead and start with announcements. We have a new members onboarding, and I see some new faces here. You're welcome to join. That's December 15th at 7 o'clock. It's a good time to either find out questions before you join or ask questions, or as a senior member or member that's been around a while, get refreshed on the membership rules. We also have an etched metal drinkware. So that's a tumbler where you can engrave someone's name or a holiday message. It's a great Christmas gift. We've got 6 tickets left. That's December 17th at 6:30. And then James is going to lead the Mutant Toy Parade the following December 21st, Tuesday night at 8. And everybody's going to meet here ahead of time and show their finished toys, and then off you go to the parade. That should be fun times. Next up, we've got woodworking. Brian's going to do another intro to woodworking, December 22nd, 7 to 9. On the more boring side, we've got a board meeting on the 19th of December. Anybody's welcome to come and listen. We usually do it virtually. So when I say come, I mean come virtually. And that's 2 to 4. Donations. A lot of you have been very generous with your donations. I'd like to remind everyone that you can use Amazon, Smile, Amazon. If you use that instead of the regular Amazon, a small portion of your purchase will come back to us. And it's really been adding up. Quarterly, we've been getting enough to pay for our own Prime membership every quarter. So that's been wonderful. I'd also like to talk about something new we created was gift certificates. You can get gift certificates using knoxmakers.org/store. And it will walk you through the way to get a gift certificate for your loved one. Or maybe not so loved one if you want to tease them with the pain and agony of making, right? Are there any other announcements? Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome all the new members. If you haven't had a tour or you have other questions, talk to anybody with the red badge, the board members, ask questions. And at this point, it's just open hack. Go do what you enjoy, make things. Thank you for joining.